We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Izuku, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? You think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Could Summon Espers. This is part 1, and again, I want to appreciate and thank you guys for all the support that you did for the last part. It really means a lot to me. I know that this series may not get a lot of traction, to be honest. I'm 100% aware of that, but even so, I could care less. I'm still going to give it my all, no matter what. Well, unless it starts making less viewers and numbers like it did before. But that's beside the point. The point is, let's get into this. With that of a recap, guys. In the last part, we went over the beginning of how Izuku is able to summon Espers from Dislyte, mainly due to that of a turntable that he found from an antique shop, showing that of ancient artifacts that show the love, respect, and also artistry of great heroes, villains, warriors, creatures, and gods of the world's pantheons. And the owner of this antique shop was a young woman by the name of Disboom, who hasn't had a lot of customers, especially kids around Izuku's age, around that of her shop, giving him that of a special made turntable. When taking this turntable back home, he would end up using it. But little did Izuku know, this turntable would basically allow that of individuals from another world to come to his. And these being Espers. Just like those with quirks, they are people with that of superpowers. But superpowers revolving around ancient deities, warriors, and creatures from mythology. At first, it freaked out Izuku and Inko. However, after explaining themselves, even showing that Espers and those of quirk users are no different outside of the methods on how they gain their powers, the Espers that Izuku summoned decided to help Izuku achieve his goal in his dream of being a hero, no matter what. As Izuku's future was once uncertain, but now has a path ahead. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? It's been 2 years. 2 years since Izuku has, gained his Espers. And let's just say it's been quite eventful for that of the junior high kid after all. With currently now, Izuku, 14 years old, currently heading to that of his school of Aldera Junior High, currently running towards the school and now running in place in front of a stop sign. He couldn't help but think, last year at Aldera, this is my last year. Once I finish up this year, I'll be able to apply for that of UA High, one of the most prestigious high schools in all of Japan. All the hard work that his friends, his Espers, his friends, his masters, everything that they've done for him, kept him going, pushed him forward. All of the training, the studies, the mastery, techniques, everything totally worth it. As Izuku thinking about each and every one of his Espers, his friends and family, the ones who became his teachers and mentors, the ones that reunited his dream of being a hero, more than just a desire and a want to be a hero. It's now a drive that will always push him forward, no matter what. With the light now turning green, he soon heads straight for Aldera now. However, he soon hears that of commotion in the distance, before noticing that of a gigantification villain. Within, Izuku saying, wait, a villain? And that means, with Izuku having that of a look of pure and utter joy and that of happiness on his face, saying, then that means the heroes are nearby. As soon as he wanted to basically look out, he soon thought about a certain few people that would basically tell him to not stand around looking at that of the crowd and the heroes fighting and focus on the task at hand. Then, Izuku hearing those words from that of especially 3 of his Espers after all. However, a few of his Espers on the other hand, especially Adrena of all people, the one person who would basically want Izuku to have fun and basically enjoy himself no matter what. And Parmy, who would basically tell Izuku to just enjoy himself, but don't let his, excitement basically overwhelm him. With Izuku taking a deep breath and thinking it over, he couldn't help but smirk before heading straight for that of the crowd of people seeing the villain attack. As there, he soon noticed that of a gigantification villain causing quite a bit of trouble, mainly because he, was trying to steal a woman's purse. However, he was caught by the heroes quite soon after, overreacted, panicked, and basically activated his quirk and grew that of huge size. At the same time, it caused that of the trains to basically delay, which allowing that of certain people already now calling that of their bosses and workplaces, telling them they're going to be late due to a villain attack. As for the heroes on the scene, being that of the Masafu locals, Deaf Arms, Backdraft, and also a rising star in the hero billboard charts, Kamui Woods, where Izuku couldn't help but get excited seeing that of the Arbor hero himself in person, with even the crowd, mainly that of the ladies, couldn't help but be excited. With Kamui Woods giving out that of his usual speech and everything, and monologuing about that of the villain being true evil and all that, he soon was about to finish it with that of his special move, Lacrima Chain Prison! Sending that of multiple branch tendrils straight at that of the villain. However, little in the distance, with Izuku's hearing, he can hear somebody basically soaring, as then hearing a voice saying, Canyon Cannon! As it being a woman who basically drops kicks that of the gigantification villain, at the same time, halting Kamui Woods' special move. Izuku, seeing this, couldn't help but say, oh, whoa. As Izuku completely and utterly caught off guard by that of the new arrival as being the newly debuted pro heroine, Mount Lady. Seeing that of the tall gigantification pro heroine with the blonde hair, domino purple mask, and a pretty skin-tight uniform, let's just say she's definitely going to be popular in the billboards after all, especially given the certain people now taking pictures of her. With Izuku couldn't help but sigh, saying, this is the kind of hero society we live in. Before bringing out one of his notebooks from his book bag, his hero notes for the future, number 13. Within, now writing down about that of Mount Lady, she's a newly debuted pro. However, by the looks of her, she's basically 26. Could she have been a sidekick? No, even if she was a sidekick, people would have noticed her by then. Possibly, she might have saved up money so she can basically go straight to pro after all. Even bother working at that of another pro's agency. That's some dedication and hard work there. Gotta give her credit for that, if that's the case. Might need to look her up a little bit if I can. Within, a person with that of a weird, spikes coming out of his head on the side and the top of it. As the man could up and say, I'm guessing you're one of those hero nerds, aren't you, young man? Within, Izuku, feeling a little bit embarrassed, and closes book saying, you can already tell? Pretty much, yeah, sir. Figures. I'm guessing you also plan on becoming a hero in the future. Within, hearing that, Izuku completely utterly shocked. Before then, the man saying, well, if that's the case, I'm rooting for you, young man. Within, Izuku couldn't help but smile, saying, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Within, Izuku saying, even if he didn't believe in me, or even the world goes against me, doesn't matter. I'm going to aim to be a hero no matter what. I could care less at being at the top or being number one. As long as I'm a hero to help others, that's what truly matters. With that another form of self-confidence added to him, Izuku heads straight for Aldera. However, even though Izuku now has that of those who support him, care about him, and are teaching him what it means to be a hero in a different way, let's just say his time at Aldera hasn't changed one bit. At that of a boring and somewhat bland-looking junior high school, being Aldera Junior High, currently in that of Class 3A, that being Izuku's homeroom class, as their teacher, basically a bland and somewhat, forgettable man with slick back blonde hair saying, all right, students, now that you're all third years and it's your final year here at Aldera, you all need to think about what you'll be doing after you graduate. I know many of you plan on going into high school, of course, and maybe some of you might just go straight into that of the job force after all. So, today, I'll be giving you all that of career aptitude test and see what you'll all be doing. However, as soon as he says this, that's when many students begin to activate that of their quirks, before then tossing the papers up in the air without even caring, saying, but why bother? I know many of you already plan on going to the hero track after all, aren't ya? With everybody basically waving around, using their quirks all willy-nilly without even caring, and some with mutation quirks just showing off like, it's nothing. Izuku, on the other hand, not that really nervous, but somewhat annoyed at the antics of his own homeroom teacher, of course. Always trying to make a show out of everything. Within soon, hearing that of a familiar, egotistical, arrogant, and self-entitled voice saying, hey, teach, don't label me with these losers. They would be lucky enough to be a sidekick to who's some random D-list wannabe after all. Within hearing that, Izuku couldn't help but sigh, saying, and speaking of arrogance, seeing that of a familiar spiky blonde with crimson red eyes, basically leaning back on that of his chair and having his feet on his desk, this being Izuku's former childhood friend, now turned tormentor, Katsuki Bakugo. Within, everybody in the class basically getting somewhat annoyed, afraid, and also somewhat admired that of Bakugo, with a few of them who were annoyed saying, seriously? You really think that we're beneath you that much, Katsuki? Saying, yeah, Bakugo, what makes you think that you're going to be better than us? Within, he couldn't help but scoff before then, jumping up on his desk saying, because I'm the only one from this dead-end school who plans on going to UA, the prestigious school that it's only worthy for me. Within hearing that, many people couldn't help but gasp, outside of Izuku, as he couldn't help but roll his eyes, thinking, of course he would go to UA too. That's just the kind of person he would go to. It was either that or Shiketsu, but given that Shiketsu is all the way in that of Osaka, kinda makes sense on why go to UA. Especially given that it's mainly located here in Masafu. It only makes sense. With then, Bakugo, while Izuku is basically in his own little minds, continues ranting on why he's going to UA, as he plans on becoming the greatest hero of all time that surpasses even All Might, becoming the richest, most famous, and even greater than any hero known to man, to the point that he begins laughing so arrogantly it's kind of annoying. Before then, their homeroom teacher spoke up saying, oh, right, Midoriya, aren't you going to UA too? Before getting called out by that, that's when Bakugo stopped laughing and almost looking somewhat, frozen in shock. But then Izuku couldn't help but say, oh, here we go. Before then, the entire classroom couldn't help but laugh at that of Izuku, with one student saying, "Seriously, Midoriya thinks he can go to UA? Of all people, how pathetic is that? Seriously, you like hell they'll let him into the school." Within, Izuku can help but sigh, saying, especially since he's quirkless. Within, Izuku saying, technically they got rid of that rule like that of 5 years ago. They'll allow anybody, even an enter the hero quirkless, into that of the hero course as well. Within, hearing that, Bakugo was about to bring down his hand down onto Izuku's desk. However, Izuku reacting quite fast enough, pulling something from that of his behind him. Before then, it looks like that of a stick. However, pressing a button as it extends into that, what looks like that of a staff. Before then, knocking Bakugo's hand away before it actually hit somebody else that was next to Izuku's desk, knocking them back and causing that of a chain reaction of students basically being knocked back from falling over their desk and chairs, causing the teacher to be completely and utterly shocked at this. Before then, seeing Izuku with that in that of his left hand, having that of a metal staff with that of a metal blunt edge on the end, as this basically being a collapsible extendo spear, a custom-made, support tool that Izuku, alongside that of his mom and all his other Espers, basically pitched in to buy for him to help him defend himself in case he gets in danger after all. It cost over that of 50,000 yen, especially getting it custom made so it'd be strong enough to handle that of emitter type quirks, especially with interest as well. So yeah, it was a pretty yen. As for Bakugo, feeling the sting in that of his right hand, with soon seeing Izuku standing over him with the staff saying, "Okay, I get that you feel like you're being challenged, Kachan, but I'm not." With then saying, "Shut it, Deku! You got lucky, you quirkless bastard. If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't even be here. And what makes things a loser like you, a quirkless loser, thinks he has the chance to even become a hero or even go to UA to begin with?" With Izuku looking down before taking a deep sigh, huffing, before then saying, "Look, I could care less about what you say. As much as you think you beneath me for basically going to just even trying to apply for the entrance exam, I could care less." But then soon their teacher, getting his bearings, saying, "Midoriya," as then saying, "If you're going to basically tell me that I'm in trouble for attacking my classmates, Kachan was about to attack me first. Don't you think that that's against the rules, especially using your quirk in class like everybody else has been?" Within, soon hearing that, the teacher saying, "Don't get snappy with me, young man," saying, "Then do your job then." With Izuku having that of a serious look on his face. Within, their homeroom teacher saying, "After this, I want to see you after classes are over, Midoriya. With now, we need to get classes into session. Everybody, please go to your seats." Within, hearing that, those groaning basically get back to their seats, while Bakugo continues to glare at that of Izuku. Within, mentally saying, "We're not done here, Deku," while growling to himself at the same time. Currently outside of Aldera Junior High, Izuku's Espers, on the other hand, are basically doing their own thing. Given that, unlike that of my past what-ifs, like that of what if Izuku could summon heroic spirits and what if Izuku could summon vision heroes, they basically are able to go into spirit form and crystallized form, basically not making any space, not taking up too much space, and can appear at any time, at anywhere when Izuku needs them the most. However, the Espers, on the other hand, they're basically still humans after all, still people, not some copy of legendary heroes from bygone eras, or basically fragments of people from another dimension turned into that of crystals. The Espers are just like any other normal person. They have to walk around, hang around, spend time with people, stuff like that after all. The only thing that, And you may be wondering, how do they basically come to Izuku when he needs their help? Simple, really. All he needs to do is say one word, drop the beat, and say that Esper's name, and they'll basically warp straight towards Izuku due to him being their DJ and leader of the turntable after all. However, it's rarely that Izuku is, well, needing to do so. So, basically now, all the other Espers are basically doing their own thing around that of Masafu and having their own kind of fun after all. Young Chen is basically training in the outskirts of Masafu, basically the forest area where Izuku and Bakugo used to play a lot back when they were kids, outside of the playground. Alexa, on the other hand, she's currently, well, working through some things with that of some business people actually. Because of her, they were able to sort out certain financial problems for Izuku and Inko's living situation. Nothing too monumental, but at least something good enough where if Izuku summons even more Espers, their apartment won't be too damn cramped like it was before when they first summoned him. Drew, on the other hand, well, he's a butler. It's his duty to always look after that of his masters after all. Currently now, he's with that of Inko, looking after her. Whenever Izuku needs him or calls for him, he'll basically drop whatever he's doing to go straight to that of his leader. But for now, he's actually that of a bodyguard for Inko though, and not the only one. Koharu's the same way too. The 19-year-old Esper, or rather, 21-year-old Esper, because yes, the Espers do still age as well, look after Inko too, whenever she isn't called by Izuku. Not to mention, when finding out that, well, religion has basically died down in that of Japan, especially in that of Shintoism, basically the religion where it's tied to that of her powers, she was able to buy that of a small shrine in that of Masafu. And for the past year and a half, she's been cleaning it up and trying to make it presentable for those who are Shintoists like her. Plus, she's also trying to turn it into something else as well to help out too. But the paperwork is starting to become a little bit too hard to get through it just yet. Raven, on the other hand, well, she's kind of an enigma. She's basically a free spirit of a woman after all, even in her current age. However, she's never too far, especially if you hear the hum of a motorcycle in the distance and the crackle of lightning. However, she also does other thing too, especially how she's supporting Izuku and Inko and the others too. Adrena, in some way, is just like that of Raven. It's the reason on why the two can't get along that much. Even though Raven's a free spirit, she has her duties to what's important. Adrena, on the other hand, is completely wild all over the place, just doing whatever she wants and how she wants. However, not wanting to cause any trouble for Izuku and Inko and everybody else, she decided to make money in a different way and support Izuku too, as the head of the, well, fiery pepper circus after all. She basically is a street performer, showing off that of her skills with that of her trombone after all, both in music and performances, especially on her unicycle. She normally does this stuff mainly on that of the weekends and also after schools. So currently right now, she's basically just doing her own thing by just relaxing and watching TV right now. However, that aren't the only 7 Espers for Izuku, as he actually has 3 more new ones, but they'll make an appearance later on. While the school day continues on, somewhere in that of Masafu, a Sludge villain basically stole cash from a convenience store and is basically on the run right now, with the civilians either panicking or some basically just watching a villain basically just stroll by without even doing a single thing. As this gets the attention of 2 people, one being a man also leaving that of a convenience store, basically a couple blocks down, wearing that of a baggy green cargo pants, a baggy t-shirt, and somewhat messy long blonde hair, as the man couldn't, for a split second, basically body shifts and changes as he can up and say, "Never fear, for I am here." However, as for the other person, they basically are in that of an alleyway, originally having that of a white jacket with that of tiger stripes on it, as she also has that of baggy blue white jeans too, however with tiger stripes too, and that of black boots with that of gold yellow highlights on them. And then you could actually see the fangs in her mouth. Before then, you could see that of a striped tail, a white and black striped tail popping tailbone. But then saying, "This could be fun." As the day finally comes to an end, and Izuku looking over that of his notes over Mount Lady, and especially over her, and looking up the internet on that of her debut, and there's anything about her, saying, still nothing new. Makes sense, he did just debut, so there wouldn't be much about her just on her just yet. Before then, looking up saying, "Oh, actually now there is. It looks like she originally went to a hero school outside in that of the countryside due to that of the, problematic side effects of her quirk after all. Unfortunately, she can't adjust her size. She either grows taller or taller, and that's it." With Izuku can help but sigh, saying that's a disappointment. If she could adjust her size, she would actually be quite the triple threat of a hero. Well, I'm guessing her sex appeal is going to be the thing that's going to make her popular. As Izuku puts his phone back into his pants, as he's about to put that of his notebook his hero notebook in his bag, that's when it was grabbed out of his hands, before then saying, Kachan! But then saying, "Seriously, Deku, still writing down notes even though that's pointless? Do you really think that you can get into UA just by writing down things like a stalker?" But then, both of Bakugo's lackeys, a kid that used to hang out with Izuku back in the day, and then some kid that just started hanging out with Bakugo when they started Aldera, with Izuku saying, "Ha ha, very funny, Kachan, give it back." Within, as Bakugo was about to put his palms together and basically explodes the book, within saying, "What? Why would you?" Before tossing it out into the window, saying, "You prick, what the hell?" As soon Bakugo was about to place his hand on Izuku's shoulder, before then, basically grabbing him by that of his wrist, and then slamming his fist in that of Bakugo's gut. As then, two of Bakugo's lackeys could help but be completely shocked. But then, Izuku running past out of the lackeys and heading straight to get his notebook back. And within, Bakugo feeling the pain, saying, "That damn worthless bastard! He's gonna pay for that!" As Bakugo still reeling from that of the punch, he's still thinking back then, all of this wouldn't be happening. He wouldn't have a damn spine and a backbone if it wasn't for those damn weirdos. As Bakugo remembers about that of 2 years ago, when Izuku summoned his Espers. With Izuku heading to Aldera Junior High walking, however, he wasn't there alone. Yongjin, alongside that of Raven, were there too, as Raven, not wanting to ride that of her bike, as she's basically has a motorcycle in her love for motorcycles after all, and decided to just walk alongside Izuku to keep him safe. Within, Izuku saying, "You guys don't have to." Within, Yongjin saying, "No, but we want to. And besides, it's our duty to protect you and look after you." Within, Raven saying, "Yeah, and besides doing so, gives me a better chance to have a better layout of this city after all. I'm looking forward to basically cruising the streets on my bike." Within, Izuku saying, "Still can't believe you have a motorcycle. Just to give you a heads up." Within saying, "Yeah, I'm aware. People with motorcycles are looked down upon quite a bit in Japan. I'm aware. It was the same back in our world too. Mainly because how they're associated with that of biker gangs after all. But don't worry, I'll be fine. It's not like anybody could even catch me when I'm on my bike." Within, Yongjin couldn't help but have that of a nervous smile saying, "Miss Raven, you never change." Within, she couldn't help but smirk, especially with the gleam in that of her one good eye saying, "Don't I?" With that, they soon arrive at Aldera, with Izuku about to enter that of the school. Before then, Bakugo comes over with that of his lackeys, once again saying, "There you are, Deku. Seriously, can't even come to school properly." Within noticing that of Yongchen and also Raven, within soon not even bothering paying attention to him as he's about to go to that of Izuku and place his hand on his shoulder. Before then, Yongchen grabs him by that of his hand. Before then saying, "Pardon me, young man, but I think Izuku doesn't want you to touch him." Within, Bakugo tries to get his hand out of that of Yongchen's grip, within saying, "Hey, let the hell go of me, damn it!" Within, Izuku saying, Yongchen, you could sing." Within, Raven basically covering Izuku's mouth saying, Nah, let this play out. This is gonna be fun. Watch it. A brat like him needs to know his place, right?" Within, Izuku saying, "Raven, Miss Raven." Bakugo was struggling. The 12-year-old could help but say, "Let go of me, you damn it!" Within, sending that of an explosion. Before then, young Chen still holding that of Bakugo's hand. Before then, kicking that of his the hand that was about to explode up to the air. Within, Su feeling the sting in that of his explosion hand, saying, "What the?" Before then, grabbing him, tossing him to the ground. Before then, materializing his spear and putting it right in between Bakugo's head as in the ground, with him completely and utterly shocked, with his eyes having that of a look of pure and utter fear, saying, "My duty is to protect Izuku over there. You can call me his new sentient quirk, after all. My duty as his guardian to look after him and always protect him." Within, Raven also saying, "Same here. Try any shit around little Izuku again. And trust me, unlike young Chin, I won't be so merciful." Within, lightning begins to crackle around that of Raven's right, that of her fallen black wing. Within, all the kids couldn't help but feel somewhat scared. Even the teachers noticing this as they were about to step in before noticing the overwhelming pressure coming off of Raven, thinking that she's a villain. Before then, removing the spear and then getting off of that of Bakugo, within saying, "We'll be waiting here when classes end, Izuku. Then we'll start your training." Within saying, "Sure, thanks." Within saying, "Anytime." With that, the two still began to head out. As for Raven, she soon snaps her fingers as men materializing right beside them in that of a bright flash of lightning, being a black motorcycle, as even the engine almost sounds like that of thunder itself. Before getting off of it saying, "Later guys." Before then, hitting with full throttle and doing that of a wheelie out of that of Aldera's district. Within, Izuku saying, "Whoa, that is so cool." Within, soon, everybody else was completely and utterly shocked as rumors began to spread about Izuku, before him basically saying that they are his sentient quirk and his guardians. Since then, Izuku, originally Bakugo was going to amp up his bullying and basically torture on that of Izuku. However, ever since started training from that of his Espers, learning new ways to fight from that of, Yung Chen with his spear play, also learning how to throw a punch and fighting from that of a few other, Espers too, swordsmanship from Drew, and his newest Espers too. He learned from one of his newest ones, he actually learned that of full Shaolin Kung Fu, mainly that of exploding fist style from his newest Esper. Since then, he's become a lot more capable and stronger for the past 2 years. Even though he looks like he hasn't grown or gotten taller, his body, density, strength, and even endurance have improved since then, as this 14-year-old is no one to mess with. And since Izuku has now stand up for himself due to the support and guidance from that of his Espers and teachers and new friends, and even his new quirk too, and calling them by that of his newest sentient quirk, has a lot more of a backbone to stand up for himself. And let's just say Bakugo and a lot of other people from Aldera hated the fact that the person that was seen quirkless, seemed wimpy, pathetic, useless, and trash, everybody's punching bag now can basically punch back. With Izuku now currently outside, seeing that of his notebook, that it's now burnt and now being currently eaten by that of the fish, he couldn't help but sigh, saying, all that hard work. But then looking over the pages, thinking, well, at least the pages are still intact. Everything else too. Thank God that I listened to Alexis's commission to get that of extra heavy duty fire, water, and ice resistant notebooks after all. Even though they were cost a big penny, better than nothing. But then putting the notebook back into his book bag, that's when he could hear somebody screaming, Deku! With then realizing, there goes Kachan again. Before heading outside, that's when Bakugo finally caught up, saying, you're dead, you damn bastard! I'm going to! Before then, a spear lands in between Bakugo and Izuku, and that of a flash of golden light. As Izuku, seeing this, couldn't help but not be fazed, but with that of a small smile on his face. As for Bakugo, he couldn't help but have that of a look of pure and utter shock. With then, the lackeys that were behind Bakugo couldn't help but feel somewhat afraid too, before then seeing a woman, and that's of having that of a black coat that covers that's basically lingering over her shoulders, fully white tight white pants, that of reinforced black golden boots, and also having that of a black helmet that pronounces that of her brightish red hair, as she has that of a stoic look. Before then, she couldn't help but flip that of the coat on her shoulders, saying, can I ask you why you have any intention to hurt my Commander Izuku? Within, Izuku couldn't help but say her name, saying, Leona, so you're waiting for me today. Within, she having that of a comforting, loving, and somewhat, dreamy smile, saying, of course, Commander. I promised that I would look after you. Originally, Ling Sha was supposed to be here. However, she's a little bit, but then Izuku saying, right, of course. She's a little busy, isn't she? But then she can help but nod her head. Before then, heading back to that of the spear, getting a better look at it, as it's basically a pure white, as the handle was pure white, with that of a blackened guard, and that's of a double-edged spear blade. However, you can see that of golden spikes basically piercing and wrapping around that of the double-edged blade of the spear. With then soon saying, please don't try this again, Katsuki Bakugo, was it? Or consequences will be made, and I wish not to cause any more trouble for my master's sake. With that, she soon walks off, before dematerializing the spear and walking alongside Izuku. When she's talking, she couldn't help but basically ask how his day has been. Is he doing all right? Does he need anything before they head back home? Within, Bakugo, on the other hand, couldn't help but feel somewhat frustrated, humiliated, and pissed about the fact that once again, those so-called sentient quirks of Deku, those damn fakers, those weird foreigners, got in his way once again. As all he could do was basically growl to that of the heavens that will not even listen to him. Back with that of Izuku and Leona, with then Izuku couldn't help but sigh, saying, so everybody now knows I'm going to UA. But then Leona could help but sigh, saying, why do you still go there, Commander Izuku? Everybody has already told you multiple times that you should basically leave Aldera Junior High, go somewhere else, transfer to a different school. Within, Izuku saying, I know, they have told me this so many times. However, if I basically transfer to a different school, if I literally move to a different school, it basically just proves that they've won. They've basically gotten under my skin. They've basically pushed me down to the ground so many times that I can't take it anymore. I refuse. I refuse to allow that. I refuse to allow the school and the teachers to get under my skin because I will be a hero. Even if I don't care if it basically affects or pisses off Kachan. I'll give it my all, no matter what. With that, she couldn't help but smile in that of joy and also in somewhat admiration, saying, "That's the spirit. I expect nothing but the best from the young man who leads us, after all." But then Izuku couldn't help but scratch the back of his head, saying, "I'm still green under gills after all. It's just you guys training me and teaching me how to fight properly that I've been able to come this far, and I don't plan on slowing down anytime soon." With that, they soon take a shortcut under that of an underpass. With then, she's saying, "So, what do you plan on doing now?" But then Izuku's saying, "Well, I'm going to see to make sure that none of my pages from the notebook that Bakugo blew up are badly damaged so I can salvage them. If not, well, within, as before Izuku could say anything, that's when the manhole cover behind them basically pops out. With then, soon, a certain person comes out of the way, as it looks like that, of the Sludge villain from earlier. Within, both Izuku and Leona having that of looks appear in utter shock and surprise, before then saying, "You, one of you, give me your body!" Before noticing that of Leona saying, "You'll do. You actually look like a hero by any chance." I'm within about to go to that of Leona. Before then, at the same time, Leona materializes her spear, and Izuku brings out that of his collapsible spear as well. Before soon, several black shields with that of snakes on them materializes right in front of Leona. Within, the Sludge villain realizes, saying, "What? But how?" Within, Leora saying, "You disgusting parasite, thinking that you could take my body? Such evil. You are truly a villain by the definition, thinking that you would allow somebody to be a victim for you." Within, Izuku jumping over the shields, before then analyzing that of the villain's biology, saying, "Even if I just stab it, it probably won't do anything. Liquid attacks or something more forceful would do so. However, seeing that it still has a mouth and eyes, and possibly that of and a nose too, it's still human." So, before then, tossing his spear and then throwing it into that of the Sludge villain's eye, as then you could actually see a little bit of blood coming from that of the pierced, ocular organ. Would then say, "Ah, you bastard! What the hell? Who just throws something in somebody's eye?" With Izuku basically going right over that of the Sludge villain. Within, as he's about to tell Athena to take it out, that's when somebody else comes through that of the manhole cover, saying, "Never fear, because I am here." As then Izuku turns around, and for a split second, he saw the individual, the figure, that being his idol and hero, All Might. Before then, Izuku, reacting in a brief amount of time, basically ducks under down to the ground, with the Sludge villain noticing All Might, saying, "Texas Smash!" sending that of a whirlwind of force towards that of the Sludge villain, as being pushed back into that of the black shields even more, screaming in that of agony, having the force basically tear his body apart piece by piece as he goes all over that of the underpass tunnel. As for Leona, she's trying her best to keep the shields intact, as even the force alone is even starting to knock back her shield, saying, "Such power, such amazing power. Is this the kind of power from a true hero? This must be from that of that number one hero that Izuku has always talked about. I can see why he admires him so much." with the ensued the Sludge villain now all over the place with Izuku basically having to go down to the ground, no longer feeling somewhat overwhelmed by the force. Couldn't help but look up, saying, "Oh, oh, all might." And that of his muscular glory and that of his amazing grin as always, All Might stands before Izuku and one of his Espers, saying, "I'm glad that I was able to make it in time." Before then, somebody also coming through that of the manhole cover, within saying, "So already taking care of it? Damn, I was really hoping that I could actually see a good fight. But seeing you already took care of him, maybe." Before then, noticing that of the green net on the ground, before blinking multiple times saying, "Yo, if it isn't my adorable little bunny Izuku, what the hell are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at home by now?" I told Leora to within, bringing down the shields, seeing out of an annoyed Leora, before then saying, "Yeah, you did." Within realizing, "Oh, crap." "And what are you even doing here?" Ling Sha, with that, the new individual being one of Izuku's newest Espers. Ling Sha, one who has the power from that of the Chinese pantheon of the white tiger. Getting a better look at that of the woman, she's quite muscular, with that of massive arms that can look like they can basically destroy an entire brick wall, and that of long white hair, and that of her tiger ears on that of her head too. But then say, sorry, I just finished up a match, and I was on my way back home, when I told you, that's when I saw that of All Might and the Sludge villain." Within, Izuku saying, You ran into All Might?" Within, All Might mentally thinking, "When did she track me? I didn't even notice she was even behind me. And she was able to keep up with me all this time?" Within, Ling Sha saying, "Oh, but that's not what's important. What's important is that the villain was taken care of, my little bunny is actually safe, and we can basically get out of here." Within, soon she's about to help out that of All Might with that of the Sludge villain. Within saying, "Hold on there, young lady," saying, "I'm 37, or rather young woman. You shouldn't get involved with this. Who knows what will happen if the Sludge villain," saying, don't worry, I'm no pushover, All Might. Trust me." Then, bringing Izuku up to his feet, saying, "Tell her, Izu." Within, saying, "She's pretty tough, All Might. Trust me." Within, saying, You know each other." Having Izuku basically scratching the back of his head, saying, "It's complicated." Couple minutes later, they finally got the Sludge villain in that of a bottle that All Might was having onto him, saying, "Now then, with the villain now taken care of, I should now get going." Within, Izuku saying, "Wait, All Might, I have something to ask of you." Of course, it only makes sense." "1 minute, young man." Caught off guard by this, as Izuku was about to say, "Yes, actually, I wanted to ask if you could. Now, where would you want me to sign?" Within, Izuku blinking multiple times, saying, "Wait, what? You want me to sign something, do you not?" As Izuku, Ling Sha, and also Leona also basically were caught off guard by this. Within, Izuku saying, within, bringing out one of his notebooks, handing it to All Might, with All Might basically taking it and writing his signature on it. Within, Izuku saying, "Oh my god, this is the best day of my life. This is definitely going to be a family heirloom from now on." Within, hearing that, both Espers get up and say, "Family heirloom, huh?" With Leona blushing and Ling Sha basically having a more interested look now. Within, Izuku closing out of his hero notebook, within realizing, but wait, it isn't just the autograph. I also wanted to ask you something really important. Within, the two Espers getting out of their thoughts again, as they look at that of their, the person that summoned them to this reality, within saying, sorry, young man, I've done everything I can. Crime does not wait for anybody. Not to mention, I have to get this villain to the nearby police station. So, I'll be going. Ta-ta and be safe! With then jumping up into the air at that blinding speeds. However, to the Espers, they couldn't help but realize that All Might is moving fast, but not too fast, as they would expect him to move even faster than they are capable of. Especially Ling Sha, as that of a well-renowned, street fighter after all. Within, Ling Sha saying, is it me or does All Might seem a lot slower? Even though I was able to keep up with him in the sewer system, given that I'm used to this. But then Leona saying, of course you are. He was moving way too slow. I remember the bunny boss was always saying that he was basically fast enough to basically jump from one city to the another in just a matter of a few hours. With Leona hearing this, she couldn't help but compare it to herself, saying, now that you mention it, even my shields are strong or powerful enough. As for the number one hero, he would have been able to break through them easily. As the two Espers look at each other, with both of them saying, you don't think? Within them looking at Izuku saying, Izuku, do you believe he's within? Both Espers realize that the Green Net junior high student is completely and utterly gone right then and there as they realize, Izuku! With All Might on basically still floating in the air for a bit, with then realizing that he feels a little bit heavier than normal, with then looking down, seeing Izuku Midoriya, with All Might completely and utterly shocked, saying, hey, what are you doing? I love my fans, but not to this close. You have to let go of me right now. And Izuku freaking out, saying, but if I do that, I'm going to fall. Are you trying to kill me, All Might? Realizing their predicament, saying, right. I need to find somewhere safe for him to let go. But then, seeing a nearby building in the downtown district of Masafu, with then Izuku taking a deep breath, saying, it's a good thing I had my spear on me. In case I did drop, I can at least use my spear to stop my fall. With then, as Izuku still taking deep breaths, with All Might saying, now then, young man, what you did was too dangerous. And now you excuse me, I have to get going. As All Might was about to leap off, saying, wait, I had to ask, can somebody quirkless is capable of being a hero? But then, hearing that, All Might couldn't help but say, what? But then, Izuku saying, I've spent my whole life feeling quirkless, feeling weak, feeling pathetic. When the day I was diagnosed quirkless, my entire life became somewhat of a living hell. People who I used to think was my friends abandoned me, abused me. Even my own teachers don't even give a damn about me. I feel like the entire world was against me. The entire world was always putting me down. But even with all of that, I still wanted to strive to be a hero. Within hearing all this, All Might saying, this young man. Before then, soon, smoke begins to come off of him as he soon coughs up a little bit of blood, saying, damn it, went past my limit. My time is up. Within, Izuku continues going without realizing this, with him going on saying, that's why even with that, I found people who actually wanted to believe in me. People who actually strove to help me. Who gave me the reason to keep on fighting and keep on going no matter what. Thinking about each and every one of his Espers, each and every one of the people who trained him, taught him, looked after him, and gave him hope. Even the ones he began to start feeling for something. With then, Izuku still continued on saying, that's why I have to ask. I must know. Is it possible? Is it possible for somebody like me to be a hero without a quirk as long as I work hard to achieve my goals? Within, looking back up, seeing nothing but a scrawny and somewhat disheveled and basically inebriated man wearing All Might's clothes, but they're all too big and baggy now, with smoke wafting off of him. But then Izuku, seeing this, blinking multiple times, saying, "Ah! Who are you? What are you? What is All Might gone? You're an imposter! You're not the real All Might!" However, the man soon spoke up, saying, "Calm down, kid. I'm telling you, I'm..." Within spitting up that of blood, Izuku freaking out like crazy, wiping his mouth as the man, now known as All Might, spoke up saying, "I'm telling you, I'm the real All Might. This is just what I look like from now on. After all." Hearing that explanation, Izuku saying, "Wait, from now on? What are you?" As soon Izuku started to realize something. As time went on while he was training, All Might's appearances throughout that of the world for the past 10 years has been minimal. There's little All Might anywhere across the world. I mean, sure, he's still seen here and there all across Japan, taking down villains and saving the day as he always has. That hasn't changed. However, he hasn't been around so much. Less and less. I figure it is because he wants to give that of the next generation of pros a chance to show what they're capable of. But if this is the reason, within, All Might continues spoken up saying, there has always been tons of questions, interviews, and stuff about my quirk and everything. Some just say it's just your typical strength type quirk or body enhancement quirk. I always just laugh it off and just say that a quirk doesn't matter as long as I'm able to do my duty as a hero. Technically, my quirk works like like how you basically go to a beach or a pool and basically puff up your chest to make yourself look swole and all that. Well, that's just how my quirk works, young man. Hearing this, Izuku saying, "So that's how it works. So are you saying that?" "Yeah. This is what I mostly look like from now on, nowadays." Within, it's mainly because of this. But then raising up the left side of his shirt, but soon noticing a huge, dismembered and gaping hole around that of his torso. As All Might continues saying, "You see this? This is what I gained from a fight with a dangerous and powerful villain about that of 5 years ago." 5 years ago? Then Izuku realized, "Wait, are you telling me you got that wound from Toxic Chainsaw?" Hearing that name, All Might couldn't help but say, "Wow, you really are a hero nerd. And you know your stuff too." But nah, it wasn't that guy. He was strong and he got some good hits on me, but nothing he did would have basically put me down at all. No, this villain is, within him clenching his fist, almost in that of a fleet of rage, a fleet of pure and utter hatred. Hatred that even Izuku could feel, mainly due to his years of training. As he's saying, this villain was way too much more dangerous than any other villain known to man. Hearing this explanation from All Might, Izuku's eyes couldn't help but have that of wide open shock. Within, All Might saying, "It's the very reason on why you don't see me around most of the time like I did back in the day. It's because I have a time limit now. Normally, I'm the symbol of peace, the #1 hero of Japan. I'm supposed to be smiling to make everyone feel reassured after all. But nowadays, all I do is smile just to hide away the fear I have for myself. That I'm basically a shell of my former self now." Hearing that, Izuku was completely caught off guard. And then All Might was about to say the very words that Izuku wanted to hear, saying, "So, you wanted to know if it's possible to be a hero? Take heart, kid. Heroes put their lives on the line for everybody, to make sure that everybody is safe and well protected no matter what. So no, I don't think it's possible for somebody without a quirk to be a hero." Hearing those words from his idol, the man that he admires the most, the man who basically gave him the drive to be a hero, said it from himself. The words that everybody else have always told him, from his mom to his former friends to that of his teachers and every bystander that found out he was quirkless, with to say it's impossible. But then soon, without warning, two people say bullshit. With that, both Izuku and All Might were completely shocked before then, landing on that of the rooftop and that of aura of pure wind and aura of pure and utter light, being Leona and also Ling Sha as well, as the two Espers have that of look of pure and utter murderous intent, and it's directed not at Izuku, but at All Might, with even All Might could feel the murderous intent from that of the two women. If Izuku saying, Leona, Ling Sha, within Ling Sha grabbing Izuku by his collar, raising him up, saying, "What the hell, you idiot? You made us worry. What the? Do you really think you could basically just go off on your own and grab onto the number one hero and think that we're not going to come after you?" As soon Izuku heard this, saying, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cause any trouble." Leona spoking up, saying, "Yes, you did. Seriously, Commander. Causing this much trouble all because you just wanted to listen to an answer that shouldn't even matter anymore." But then hearing that, Izuku saying, "Huh? What are you talking about?" With Ling Sha dropping that of her little DJ, within saying, "Isn't it obvious, you damn bunny?" Basically bending down to that of Izuku's height. Within basically hugging him, making him blush quite a bit, his face basically going red, saying, "Because you got us. We told you we got your back no matter what. With or without a quirk, we know you can become a hero." Within hearing that, Izuku's eyes widened in shock, with even All Might completely and utterly in shock too, with Leona removing her helmet and even taking off that of her coat that's wrapped around her shoulders. Within going down to that of her knees too, saying, "Because we're here for you. We'll always be here for you. Sentient quirk or not, your dream of being a hero is our dream too. Whenever you feel pain, we feel sorrow too. And whenever you are in joy, we're happy as well. That's never going to stop. The world doesn't make a hero. It's you that makes yourself a hero. Your actions and yours alone." Hearing those words, even All Might couldn't help but be shocked. Before then, having flashes of memories of a certain black-haired woman in a tight black jumpsuit with a white cape, as All Might mentally and somewhat subconsciously says out loud, "Master." Then, soon Izuku hearing this from his Espers, his two closest friends, the few people who genuinely wanted to help him in his goal of being a hero no matter what, quirk or no quirk. He couldn't help but begin to cry himself, but then saying, Thanks. I'm sorry. I was really close to losing myself after everything you guys and the others have done for me. I'm so stupid." Hearing that, Ling Sha couldn't help but pat Izuku on the head, saying, "Yes, but you're also pretty damn smart too." But then, soon, Leona saying, "Now then, we gotta get you back home. Sorry to cause you trouble, All Might." Within, coat and helmet, putting them back on, with soon, as the three are about to leave, All Might saying, "No problems." As then, he soon was about to head out before then noticing that the bottle that he had in his hands or in his pants pocket are gone, saying, What's going on?" But then All Might, Izuku saying, "All Might? What's the matter?" But then All Might realizing, the villain, he's gone. He's out in my pants. Within hearing that, all three of them saying, "What?" At the exact same time, that's when explosions soon happen in the downtown street district that they are nearby. But soon, Ling Sha grabbing Izuku, and basically putting him over that, grabbing him almost like that of a sack of potatoes, and jumping up into the air. Leona does the same thing, jumps high into the sky too, with All Might wanting to buff up. However, he can't, as he's basically over his limit now, but then realizing, damn it, if I wasn't over my limit, none of this. As All Might basically decides to put that aside and head straight for the fire escape and out of the building the normal way. A couple minutes later, that's when Bakugo and his lackeys were actually in that of a nearby alleyway, with Bakugo fuming and screaming at the fact that Izuku basically got away from him and humiliated him, not to mention one of his so-called sentient quirks saving him too. Then he couldn't help but just let his rage out every time by kicking something, punching it, or exploding it. And one of those things he kicked, punched, and exploded was the bottle holding the Sludge villain. And now he just found the perfect little meat suit. At the exact same time, currently in that of a small clinic also in the downtown district of Masafu as well, leaving that of a small medical clinic, holding that of an envelope of yen bills, is a Chinese woman with that of long, flowing, silverish blonde hair, with that of rabbit ears on her as well. Not to mention, what truly stands out the most is her fashion sense is downright gorgeous. Wearing that of a pretty large, but also somewhat alluring Chongsan Chinese dress, with that of a blossoming flower pattern on it, and also having that of a massive fur coat on her too. Large aviator sunglasses, also around that of her left arm, being that of a blue purse bag, with that of multiple compartments onto that of the front though, and she has that of a look of pure and utter boredom on her face. Within, she couldn't help but sigh, saying, this job did not pay so well, and starting to think my clients are starting to cheap out on me. Oh well, it's their loss. Besides, once I get home, I'll be able to recharge my batteries with my precious Izu. As this woman is Hong Yuan, another Esper that Izuku summoned, as this is the third newest Esper that he brought to that of this world through that of the turntable. Her Esper abilities allow her to basically heal any kind of wound. However, she needs an understanding of that wound, an injury as a whole. Once she can grasp it and understand how it was inflicted and how to prevent it, she can basically heal the damage that never even was there to begin with. But she's a field medic for a reason though. She's also able to heal any kind of damage that she sees right in front of her, and basically prevent it from happening again when she saw that it was able to do so to begin with. Not to mention, she easily gets annoyed at anybody around her pretty easily, mainly of a few things. Either don't listen to that of her advice when it comes to recovering that of a patient and healing them, or just anybody that annoys her in general. Hong Yuan is a bit of a antisocial kind of girl, to be honest. But hey, don't let her know that. She could care less what you think. While she currently walking down the street, heading back to that of Izuku's place, she begins to hear that of the explosions as well. But then, she's bringing down her glasses and can help but say, it's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? I could just ignore it, but within, taking a sigh, saying, Izu would basically be disappointed if I don't. Heading to where the explosions are, however, she would end up meeting with her very Izu. Couple minutes later, Izuku, now being dropped by that of Ling Sha, as he couldn't help but grunt in that of pain, saying, Ling Sha, saying, hey, sorry, just had to get here quickly, and carrying you the normal way would have gotten in the way. Leona spoking up, saying, of course. Now, what's going on? Looking at the crowd, but soon seeing as the two Espers are a little bit taller, mainly because of, well, Leona wearing that of high boots that basically make her a bit taller, and Ling Sha already quite tall for herself. Within soon, somebody spoke up saying, looks like somebody was captured, looks like a villain is using a boy as hostage, and because of that, he's using the boy's quirk to cause trouble for the heroes. One of the pros, Backdraft, couldn't even basically wash away that of the fires because the boy keeps on making more due to the villain, because he won't stop using his explosions. Given how much of a headache and how much he's basically making things worse, my estimation's that it's Bakugo in there. Within hearing that familiar voice, within Izuku saying, Hangyun! Within soon she adjusting her glasses before having that of a genuine and loving smile saying, hi there, my Izu. Of course you would come here, the hero nerd that you are after all. Hearing that, Izuku couldn't help but blush before then realizing, wait, you think it's Kachan? Within, Ling Sha saying, oh yeah, it's definitely Bakugo, and the Sludge villain a little while ago too. And then, getting a better look as he goes deeper and deeper into the crowd, Leona can help say, Commander, please, wait for us! As the three Espers were also trying to get into that of the crowd, Izuku was able to make it to the edge, within soon seeing the Sludge villain, and then noticing its hostage, a struggling, ash blonde, explosive palm, 14-year-old Katsuki Bakugo, with Izuku a little bit shocked, finding out that it's his thinking that it's his fault for all of this. His fault for basically getting involved at all. Within, the crowd begins to mutter and wondering on why All Might isn't here. Within, being another flinch to that of Izuku, with some say that he was going after him, but not just him, but also some other person too, who was going after All Might. As Ling Sha heard this in the crowd, using that of her enhanced hearing, realizing, oh boy. Back with Izuku, he couldn't help but feel even more frustrated. Within looking back at Bakugo, he soon saw it. The look of pure and utter fear. A look of wanting somebody to help him. For that split second, Izuku, without thinking, already rushed out into that of the burning alleyway. In that of fast speed. Within, soon, seeing this, one of the pros, Death Arm, saying, what the hell are you doing, kid? You're gonna get yourself killed! Within, Izuku saying, I don't know why am I doing this. I don't know why, but I just can't sit by and do nothing, damn it! Within, pulling out that of his collapsible spear once more. Soon, the Sludge villain can't help but say, you! I don't need you anymore, you damn kid. You got in my way the first time. However, maybe... Within, trying to angle that of Bakugo's explosions as he sends a blast towards Izuku. Within soon, Izuku realizing he's gonna come straight for me. My spear may be strong, but Bakugo has no control over his explosion because he's using them frantically. If I get hit by this, I'm going to... Within, Izuku thinking, I just wish I was more like that of... Thinking about that of his master. The first Esper that saw something in him. The first Esper that would do anything to help him. That trained him. And he sees as that of a secondary father figure. But then saying the name, I wish I was like that of Master Young-chan! Before then, something begins to click within Izuku's body as a bright red aura soon consumes him. As even the explosion I was heading straight for, that of him, was also completely dispersed entirely. With the Sludge villain completely and utterly shocked, alongside that of Bakugo too. Within, even that of his female Espers, currently still in the back of the crowd, couldn't help but be shocked about this. Within, all three Espers saying, this pressure, this feelings. With Ling Sha saying, did I just feel... Then Leona commenting saying, is that what I think it is? With Han Yi finishing saying, that's Young-chan's power, Esper power, but I thought Izuku couldn't still in the outskirts of Masafu's wooden area mountains, destroying that of a boulder with that of his spear. Yongchuan, basically all shirtless and everything, building up a sweat from that of his whole day of training. He could feel it as his third eye begins to react. As that of the red circle in the center of his forehead, that looks like an eye, could feel the shift. Within, he couldn't help but smirk, within saying, looks like you were right, Raven. That spark has finally awakened within our little disciple. Back at that of Masafu, as the red light begins to dim down, within soon seeing in the center, as on the behind, it almost looks like that of Yongchuan. However, his skin tone and pigmentation is completely different. Not to mention his hair, which is normally would be all spiked up, actually is now just a wild, messy mane. However, to Bakugo and the Sludge villain, they could see it's actually Izuku, wearing the same battle attire as Yongchuan, black spear in hand. Within soon, Izuku couldn't help but say, so, I can feel it. The power of an Esper. The power of the Chinese god of the third eye, Yang Jian. I can see all of his weaknesses, which also means within soon, and that of a flick and twirl of his spear, within, at that of a burst of bright red energy crackling through that of the spear. Everybody is completely and utterly shocked. Even Bakugo within the Sludge villain saying, hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Don't you dare come near me! If you do, you'll kill the... Without warning, he soon sends that of a burst of red energy coming from the spear that soon disperses all across that of Bakugo. However, before Bakugo could be sent flying alongside that of the Sludge villain, that of a giant wolf soon grabs Bakugo and then is right behind that of Izuku and the wolf. With Bakugo seeing Izuku and the wolf right beside him saying, what's going on? Wait, why the hell does Deku look like that Chinese bastard? With that of the wolf heading straight for Izuku as he soon basically stands right beside him. With Izuku twirling his spear once again, before then slamming it down onto that of the concrete. And as then you could feel that of the tension in the air basically just leave. Not in that of a way of pure and utter fear or that of comedy, but more as a calm, relaxing feeling, almost like if All Might was there himself. Speaking of All Might, who also just showed up a little while ago and saw what just happened, he also couldn't help but be completely and utterly shocked, saying, but the boy said he was quirkless, didn't he? Did he lie to me? No. He ran right into there without even realizing it. But he shouted a name. It sounded Chinese, actually, or rather Mandarin. Who are you, young man? As this would be the start on how Izuku Midoriya went from a boy trained from that of Espers and being able to bring them to this world to a man able to become them. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, how did you guys like this? Sorry it's really fucking long. I will not lie, that's my own damn fault. I had to add that of each of the Espers doing their own thing, having fun. Also going back to that of, backstory on how Bakugo's interactions is with that of Izuku's Espers as well. And that not all the Espers are going to be around Izuku in times of need after all. Most of them may have to are basically doing their own thing and don't want to get involved, or they think Izuku can handle it themselves or another Esper can do it. It basically adds to more of the situation. Not to mention, it also adds to that of Izuku needing to learn how to channel and practice with the power to become his Espers. Speaking of that, we'll go into that in the next part. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, hope you all take care. Take it away, Shiro.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!